Right now, in the time it takes you to blink, millions of messages, searches, videos, and photos are flying across the internet. But here's the strange part. Most people use the internet every single day and still have no idea how it actually works. It might feel like some invisible cloud floating above us. But the truth is far more fascinating. The internet isn't a place. It isn't a single machine. And it isn't controlled by one company. The internet is actually one of the largest systems ever built by humans. It's a massive network connecting billions of computers, phones, and devices across the entire planet, all constantly sending information back and forth. And every time you open a website, send a message, or watch a video, a surprisingly complex process begins. To understand it, imagine the internet as a giant global postal system for information. When you visit a website, your computer sends out a request asking for specific data. That request begins traveling through a huge web of cables, routers, and servers scattered around the world. Within milliseconds, the information you're asking for travels back to you. But here's where things get interesting. The internet doesn't send information as one large piece. Instead, everything is broken into tiny chunks called data packets. Think of packets like small envelopes carrying pieces of a message. Each packet contains a portion of the information, along with instructions telling it where it needs to go. Once those packets are created, they begin their journey across the internet. They move from device to device through something called routers. Routers act like traffic controllers. Their job is to examine each packet and decide the fastest path it should take to reach its destination. But here's the surprising part. Packets from the same message don't always travel the same route. One packet might travel through New York. Another might pass through Chicago. Another might even cross the ocean through an underwater cable. Yet somehow they all arrive at the same destination, where they're reassembled back into the original message, video, or web page. Now you might be wondering where all this information actually comes from. The answer is servers. Servers are powerful computers that store websites, videos, photos, and nearly everything you see online. When you open a website, your device sends a request to the server hosting that site. The server then sends the information back to you in thousands of packets. Your browser receives those packets and quickly stitches them back together to create the page you see on your screen. And all of this happens in less than a second. But here's something most people don't realize. The internet isn't floating through the air. It's built on a massive physical infrastructure. In fact, most internet traffic travels through fiber optic cables buried underground or stretched across the ocean floor. These cables carry pulses of light that transmit enormous amounts of data at incredible speeds. Some of these undersea cables stretch for thousands of miles, connecting entire continents together. And nearly all global internet traffic travels through these cables. Satellites are sometimes used, but surprisingly, they carry only a small fraction of the world's internet data. Another critical piece of the puzzle is something called DNS, or the Domain Name System. Think of DNS as the internet's phone book. Humans prefer simple names like google.com or youtube.com, but computers actually communicate using numerical addresses called IP addresses. DNS translates those easy website names into the numerical addresses computers understand. Without DNS, every website you visit would require memorizing long strings of numbers. So whenever you type a website into your browser, several things happen almost instantly. Your computer asks a DNS server for the IP address of that website. Once it receives the address, it sends a request across the internet to the server hosting that site. The server responds by sending data packets back to your device. Those packets arrive, get reassembled, and within seconds, the website appears on your screen. Today, the internet connects billions of devices worldwide. Phones, computers, cars, smart homes, even refrigerators. It powers communication, entertainment, education, and almost every part of modern life. Yet at its core, the internet is surprisingly simple. It's just a global network of machines sharing information. A system built on cables, routers, servers, and packets of data traveling around the planet at nearly the speed of light. So the next time you open a website or send a message, Remember that your request might travel thousands of miles across cities, oceans, and massive data centers before returning to your screen in less than a second. And that invisible journey is what makes the internet work.